largest industries in terms of both profit and size. The industry supports 2.7 trillion, or 3.5% of the world's gross domestic product. A key component of aviation is the airlines. The world's airlines carry over 3 billion passengers a year and 50 million tons of freight. Providing these services generates 9.9 million direct jobs within the air transport industry and contributes 664.4 billion to global GDP. Airlines are highly important as they directly fuel the tourism industry by transporting passengers from one destination to another. But do you ever wonder how these huge companies are able to function and run, ensuring aircraft leave their gates on time and all systems go? It is no doubt the coordinated effort of the many staff working for the company and also in the airport. Today, we will be focusing on one of the key components of the airline, passenger service, bringing you deep into the heart of what this component is all about.
Passenger services. There are two fundamental aspects of passenger services. Firstly, the processing of arriving, departing, and transit or transfer passengers. This is the responsibility of airline operators and their handling agents. As the quality of passenger handling service has a direct impact on the airline image, some airlines have their own staff to perform or oversee passenger handling functions. To cater to the interests and needs of airlines, some ground handling companies may deploy dedicated teams trained to serve their major airline customers.
The next aspect of passenger services is to provide facilities and space for these processes. Most of the facilities built to handle passengers, like counters and gate hold rooms, are provided by the airport operators. Ground handlers should work closely with the airport operators to ensure that facilities and space provided for passenger handling facilitates and enhances the quality of passenger service and experience.
Other aspects of passenger services include providing and arranging for special equipment, facilities, and specially trained personnel to assist unaccompanied minors, passengers with reduced mobility, VIPs, and transit without visa passengers. It is their job to take care of passengers when flights are interrupted, delayed, or cancelled, according to instructions given by the carrier. Departure. Passengers buy tickets via the internet and change them into a boarding pass at the check-in counter. They too submit their passports at the check-in counter to allow their booking status and identity to be checked. The checked baggage will be weighed, and if the free weight limit has been exceeded, the appropriate fee will be charged. The weight of the baggage will be registered and baggage receipts will be stuck on the air ticket.
Basic expectations for departing passengers are having a good signage system for direction and information, short queues at both check-in counters and immigration, short walking distance to the gate, boarding the aircraft from a contact gate with passenger loading bridge, and having an on-time departure.
There are different counters for first, business, and economy passengers. To cater to first class and premium passengers, curbside meet and greet service and check-in lounge may also be offered by the airlines or ground handlers.
There are two basic check-in concepts for departing passengers. Firstly, we have the individual flight check-in concept. For this concept, passengers for a particular flight can be handled at one or several counters reserved for that flight. Passenger data and booking details are downloaded from this reservation system to the departure control system, and charter flights and low-cost carriers will tend to use this type of check-in, but with few desks, which can result in long queues. As LCCs may board without seat assignment but by order of check-in, the queues may form before the check-in counter even opens.
Next, we have the common check-in concept, whereby passengers can check in at any counter of the given airline or handling agent. It requires computer technology to support this method of handling. It has an advantage of an equal load on all check-in counters. However, it may result in relatively longer handling time of those flights which would have had shorter queues. To minimize congestion at airports, several features have been implemented. A good example is the self-check-in kiosk, which speeds up the check-in process and decreases the requirements on the number of staff. Several airlines have introduced self-check-in kiosks with automatic ticket and boarding system.
Another example would be the bar-coded boarding passes. IATA is also implementing the bar-coded boarding passes program to enable passengers to check in through internet access and print their own boarding passes remotely from their homes or their offices.
Arrival.
On arrival, passengers should be greeted and directed to the arrival immigration. At the immigration, arrival passengers can be divided into several channels according to their nationality and visa regulations. For business or frequent travelers, automated control is available at some airports.
Where necessary, a health control may follow after immigration. Passengers then collect their checked baggage at the baggage claim belts and go through the customs. Red channel for those with goods to declare and green channel for others.
Some basic expectations of arriving passengers are for aircraft to be parked at a contact gate so they can walk straight into the terminal, good signage system for direction and information, and fast baggage delivery to the baggage claim belt.
Transfer and transit. Transfer passengers are passengers who depart to a destination within 24 hours of arrival on a different aircraft or the same aircraft with a different flight number. Transit passengers, on the other hand, are passengers who depart within 24 hours of arrival to a destination other than origin of departure on the same aircraft with the same flight number. Transfer passengers arrive at the transfer point and depart on a different aircraft and flight number. On arrival at the transfer point, transfer passengers will be separated from arriving passengers and directed to the transfer counter for check-in to the onward connecting flight. If connecting flight is from another terminal, passengers and baggage will need to be transferred to the terminal within the minimum connection time, also known as the amount of time required for a passenger to make a connection between arriving and departing flight on the same ticket.
Transit passengers arrive at the transit point and depart on the same aircraft and flight number. At the departing airport, passengers should be informed of the transit arrangement upon check-in. On arrival at the transit point, transit passengers will be separated from arriving passengers and issued a transit card. Transit passengers will stay within the transit area until flight is ready for boarding.
Passengers with reduced mobility.
Airlines and their ground handler are responsible for providing assistance to passengers with reduced mobility. Staff must have appropriate knowledge and training to meet the needs of these passengers, and they must also be equipped with the necessary equipment and facilities to deal with passengers, such as wheelchairs, buggies, or childcare rooms.
Respect for the dignity of the disabled should be preserved by making it possible for them to use the same facilities and routes as other passengers by providing the same information and accessibility.
In conclusion, while the aviation industry seems to be able to seamlessly operate with airplanes taking off every now and then, it is due to all the small processes that go on behind the scenes. In the case of serving you with a smile whenever you check in your tickets, it's just all a day's work for the passenger service sector.
What the hell?